The first reading this morning is from Acts chapter 2, verses 42 to 47. They spent their time in learning from the apostles, taking part in the fellowship and sharing in the fellowship meals and prayers. Many miracles and wonders were being done through the apostles, and everyone was filled with awe. All the believers continued together in close fellowship and shared their belongings with one another. They would sell their property and possessions and distribute the money among all according to what each one needed. Day after day they met as a group in the temple, and they had their meals together in their homes, eating with glad and humble hearts, praising God and enjoying the goodwill of all the people. And every day the Lord added to their group those who were being saved. And the second reading is from the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verses 1 to 10. Jesus said, "I am telling you the truth. The man who does not enter the sheepfold by the gate, but climbs in some other way, is a thief and a robber. The man who goes in through the gate is the shepherd of the sheep. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep hears the voice as he calls his own sheep by name, and he leads them out. When he has brought them out, he goes ahead of them, and the sheep follow him, because they know his voice. They will not follow someone else. Instead, they will run away from such a person, because they do not know his voice." Jesus told them this parable, but they did not understand what he meant. So Jesus said again, "I am telling you the truth. I am the gate for the sheep. All others who came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not listen to them. I am at the gate. Whoever comes in by me will be saved. He will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only in order to steal, kill, and destroy. I have come in order that you might have life in all its fullness."
I come to bring life that you might have life in all its fullness. That's such a wonderful translation because it avoids the use of the A word. We're going to get to that in just a second. But I come to bring life that you might have life in all its fullness. That ought to be the motto, the mission, the vision of any church. It should, shouldn't it? Anything, any organization, any community, anywhere where you're trying to build community, it should have this as its motto, to bring life in all its fullness. You can't really argue with that, I don't think. If it's not giving you life, why would you participate in it? There's a couple of things, though, about this passage. A couple of things. The first is the translation we often hear of this passage uses the A word, which we so frequently use in church in entirely the wrong way. But we so frequently, it's abundance is the word. Oh yeah, I saw you all cringe. Because usually when we say abundance in church, it's either a stewardship campaign or a financial campaign, and we want you to remember that you should always give from abundance. Never from scarcity, but from abundance. And that absolutely is absolutely true. It is. Think of it kind of like this. It's kind of like life. If you spend your entire life, we say stuff like the only two certainties in life are death and taxes. Good time of the year for that. Death and tax. If you live your entire life through the lens of death, what kind of life is that? The only certainty that you ought to find in life is that there is the opportunity for living, because that brings life. If you live your life through the lens of death, it will not bring life at all. Let's get back to that abundance thing for a second, though. The thing about abundance and the way we tend to use it is we want you to give from abundance, and it absolutely is true. It is absolutely true, you should. But that's not actually what Jesus is talking about here at all. What he's talking about is something different, because Jesus is not asking you to give from abundance. Jesus is asking you to receive abundance, the abundance of life that Jesus brings. That is such a wonderful thing to say. What does it mean? Well, he actually says, through all of that sheep business, Jesus says quite clearly what he means by the life that he brings. The sheep gather together. They are cared for and protected. They find safety and comfort in the sheepfold at night, where they gather together in community. They gather together, and then in the morning, they are led out by the voice of the shepherd. That's the abundance of life, is to grow together in community, to find comfort and care and safety in community, and to hear that voice which later Jesus will refer to as the way. And the first Christians will call the way of Jesus, because that's what the first Christians called themselves. They didn't call themselves Christians, they called themselves the people of the way, because that's what they followed, the way of Jesus. That's the life. That's why it's such an important thing that churches especially remember, that ought to be their mission, to bring life. If you don't find that, why would you stay? True enough, you have choices. But before you make that choice to not stay or to not be part. Throw yourself in. Because you don't belong unless you belong, right? But belonging isn't about fitting in. It's not just about agreeing with what everyone says. It's not just about finding a comfortable chair. A sense of belonging comes from realizing that what you bring as an individual to the community affects the community in a positive way. It brings something that wasn't there previously, just by your presence, let alone any of the other gifts you bring. If that isn't recognized and appreciated, how would you feel you belong? Not done yet. Because if you find that, you still have more work to do. You have to share it. Yes, I'm talking about evangelism, the E word. I guarantee the first thought you had when I used the E word was not what I meant. Because evangelism is not at all about a denomination. It's not about a style of worship. It's not about a particular set of beliefs. Evangelism means tell your story. Tell your story. How do you think communities get created? Somebody shares a story that causes other people to want to be part of that, and that builds a community. Somebody shares a story of how they find meaning, they find life in the community. If we're not doing that, we're not helping to create that community, which is offered by Jesus, which is a community that brings life. We need to do that. So I want you to watch something. We're going to watch a video. A few years ago, our brothers and sisters in the United Methodist Church created a program which they called Chuck Knows Church. If you haven't seen it, you look for it on, you can find it at chuckknowschurch.org or on YouTube. They made 100 and something short videos of a guy named Chuck talking about church. And he tells you everything from why you sit the way you do in church, why you stand when you stand, why we pass a collection plate for an offering, why we have different decorations in church, why there's a candle, everything. And they're awesome. And then a couple of years ago, somebody thought, here's another idea. Let's do some videos about a church. We'll create a fictional church that is trying to decide whether it should close. And we'll put Chuck in it. And so it's the story of this church that and of course they do what churches always do, right? They strike a committee, God help us. They strike a committee, and the committee, of course, includes the various individuals you would expect to find in a church. And the very first day they're going to meet, coincidentally, Chuck is filming an episode of Chuck Knows Church at the church. That's a lot of church. So one of the people on the committee makes Chuck come to the committee meeting, and he ends up staying because it turns out he was a kid when he was a kid, he went to that church. And so he helps them through all of these things that we talk about in church, like hospitality, knowing your community, stewardship, and this one. This is Chuck and the committee, discovering evangelism.
Something I can help you with, Chuck?
I was just thinking.
You were just thinking.
Anyone ever invited you to church before?
Nope. Never been asked.
Sorry.
It's okay. Not everybody sees me. Not everybody cares.
I see you.
Good place to start.
You gonna be here for a little bit? At this meeting.
Always here, Chuck.
Park Grove Community Church has lost its pastor and its way, and is closing its doors, unless it reinvents itself, despite itself, with the help of Chuck. The committee.
I don't know, it's just always been a big turnoff for me, you know, those Bible-thumping guys.
Evangelism is not a dirty word. If you will listen to what I'm trying to...
Okay, all right. Well, then let's listen. Evangelism. Yeah, no, sounds pretty dirty to me. Listen, just give me my own space and my own time.
If you wait for the right time, it may never come. We're supposed to tell people about how
Okay, I'm sorry, but there's nothing inviting about telling somebody what to believe. Believe you me.
Oh, well, that is not evangelism. That is just
Hey, guys.
rude.
Hey, Chuck.
Yeah.
Hey, what's your opinion on the whole E word?
Emu? Weirdly okay with it.
Emu?
Daniel thinks that evangelism is unnecessary.
I never said that.
Oh, you came pretty close.
Okay, Mrs. Beasley,
What
look.
were you saying if you weren't saying it's unnecessary?
I'm merely stating
you said
that
we
it is an
don't.
awkward
This
thing.
is
It's
not the kind of
awkward.
thing we need.
No, but day old means a day cheaper. Day cheaper means more money in our pockets.
But they don't taste as good.
Well, nobody knows if they're going to be fresh or not.
I don't know.
Why does this stuff keep showing up? The rummage sale is long over. It's like our members never listen. Hey, look at me. I'm just moving stuff around.
People are still donating. We can't throw it away. It wouldn't be nice.
Can't we? I think it's hey, good to see you today. I think it's time we get this place cleaned up. Let's get on the ball. Let's get it going. Try to find a place for that where there's not other stuff already in that place. Okay.
Hello to you too, Mr. Riley.
We'll keep it till the next sale.
So ridiculous.
No,
It's just so
Daniel.
ridiculous.
Evangelism is just being passionate about your faith, telling other people
Okay,
what you believe.
but it doesn't roll
And
off the tongue for me like it does for you. I'm sorry.
Sometimes God is subtle, and sometimes God puts it right in your face.
Are you okay, Mr. Chuck?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm fine. I'm just thinking.
You're just thinking.
It's a good place to start.
Where's a good place to start?
Well, since Mrs. Beasley and Daniel already brought it up, let's take a look at this thing called evangelism.
No, I am sorry, Chuck, but you are not taking us off task this week. I have the agenda right here.
Does the agenda include evangelism?
Sit down.
I don't think we're ready for your agenda.
Daniel, what do you think evangelism is?
All right, you asked.
Well, here we go.
What? You need to sit down?
Have a seat.
Repent, all you sinners!
Sinners.
Have you heard from the word of God today? Have you, Miss Beasley?
Okay.
What is the
Have
matter
you
with
read-
you?
All right,
Big
just,
bat.
okay, let him finish.
Okay, how about this? Now, all you viewers at home, I want you to just take your hand and place it on top of your television set. Right now, go ahead and do it right now. Feel the power of Jesus coming through you. Feel him trickling through you. as you make your checks out to Daniel Sanchez,
Oh,
courtesy of
Daniel.
SanchezMinistries.org.
Daniel,
No,
you know
Jesus
what?
doesn't trinkle.
Hold up,
That
I
does
asked him
not-
to share, remember?
Okay, all right.
He's got more.
How about this?
Is he leaving?
I don't.
He's gone. Is he coming back? Is it over? Is it over?
Ding dong.
There is no telling. Oh,
not
goodness.
Hello, ma'am.
Nope.
Hello, sir.
That's the one.
How are you? Do you have a few hours this
Sure.
fine afternoon for me to debate with you how my knowledge of the Bible is vastly superior to your knowledge of the Bible, or how my church is better than your church, or how my religion can unravel the vast mysteries of the universe?
Sure.
They are vast. And did I also mention that this decoder ring comes free with the purchase of this Bible, which is made of authentic goat skin? Feel the goat skin. Chuck,
I don't know.
feel the goat skin. Feel the
Daniel,
goat skin.
You
Feel the
have
goat skin.
moved into the realm of the absurd.
Okay.
Yes, you have.
All right. Well, absurd? Well, that's what I think about when I think of evangelism.
Can I have the free decoder ring?
He wasn't even close.
Well, I just don't get it then.
All right. What Daniel has so bravely shown us is what not to do, right? And Mrs. Beasley's right. That is not evangelism. But Daniel's also shown us that there's a lot of baggage that comes with evangelism, our misunderstanding of the word evangelism. But I think we can redeem the old E word, right? I think we need to redeem the old E word.
Well, it won't be easy. It won't be easy. First, have to understand what evangelism is.
And is not.
Yeah, and how it affects how we do church. So, I already picked on Daniel. Glenda, evangelism. What does it mean?
Evangelism is sharing the good news, the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Very good.
Show off.
And just as important, the how, when, and why of evangelism are crucial for us to understand it. And I think we can do so if we examine everything in the church closely. All right. Do you guys remember how hospitality wasn't just about, greeting people during the fellowship hour, right? Hospitality begins at the curb.
What's
Now,
he looking
in the
for?
same way,
He's always digging for
evangelism
something.
isn't just about inviting someone to church. Ah, there it is. Let's call this the evangelical lens.
Man, not another metaphorical rabbit hole. Spare me.
Okay,
on this,
no
please.
tangents, I promise. All right, the evangelical lens. Well, this sounds like a good name for a TV show, right?
I'd DVR it.
What?
The evangelical lens with your host.
Yeah.
But that's a rabbit hole, and we're not talking about that. Right, what we are talking about is looking at everything in the church under this lens.
All right, we call this confessional time for a reason, right? So here's a confession. I'm only here at Park Grove because my wife comes. There, I said it. We both want our daughter to be here. And once I start getting into this like self-examination, sharing our faith business, it really, 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 it's uncomfortable. But actually, being here with all these new friends, the more I start to think about it, aside from this current subject, it's actually starting to feel right. It's different,
Okay, listen, didn't God create the church to be a witness? Right? So in that sense, it's all about evangelism, right?
I don't get it. How does a word that means sharing the gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ, get so twisted?
People twisted it.
Yeah, people you don't even know trying to sell salvation.
Yep.
Well, how do you sell a gift?
Right. You give it away.
And it can never be anything other than an open invitation.
But with zero strings attached. No guilt trip.
If we were to look at it through the evangelical lens, what do you think the answer would be?
Evangelism starts with relationships.
There you go.
Building trust and really caring about others.
I do not know what is so difficult to understand. I mean, I've invited lots of people to church. You just tell them about Jesus, what you think about God, and boom, home run, like that. What, did I say something that's funny to you?
Yeah.
Ha ha? You mean ha ha?
I'm sorry, it's just not that easy.
I'm pretty sure it is ha ha.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry. Okay.
Back to you,
Mr.
ha-ha.
Riley, Hannah, hop up here. Come up here real quick for me. I want you to imagine that you've never met.
Fine, I can do that. It's fine.
All right, now, Mr. Riley, I want you to share your faith with Hannah.
Hold it, what? Share my faith?
Yes.
Share just like that? Like I don't know her and I'm saying that?
Yeah,
To
no,
her?
just talk about what's important.
Just like, but I don't know her, and I'm saying that?
Sure.
Okay. Would you like to come to our church? We have a very nice sanctuary. Have you ever seen our stained glass windows? Also bring your wallet, because we could sure use the cash.
Okay, at least wait till they come to church before
The
you
cash, it's in the
pay
books,
for
which goes back to my... This whole authentic thing makes me uncomfortable. I think it's weird. I just want to go to church and not be bothered. Okay, fine. Maybe I need to rethink that. I don't know. You know, I don't. On second thought, what is there to rethink? I know what makes me comfortable. I know what makes me uncomfortable.
Okay, all right. I asked Mr. Riley to share, remember?
He asked me to share, remember?
Whew, we are saucy today, aren't we? All right. I want you to try it again, only this time I want you to think about how it's all developing relationships.
Hello, my name is Mr. Riley. I think this place is pretty special.
Because you love Jesus.
Because I love Jesus. And stained glass windows, which I would think that somebody your age might really appreciate them a lot.
It's been a really special place for me too when I visit. I don't know why exactly. You know, maybe it is the stained glass windows. I do stare at them a lot.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Great.
good.
Great. It was authentic and genuine, and maybe next time, you know, you can transition from stained glass windows to more talking about your faith in Jesus. But overall, very good.
You know, this shouldn't be something that we have to do. This should be something we can't help doing.
That's it. Like when you get a new puppy or grandparents showing pictures of their grandchildren.
Puppy?
If our lives are so transformed by our relationship with God, then we're compelled to share that with others.
Well, I shouldn't tell you what to believe. My experiences should inspire you.
Now that I can get on board with.
I remember my Aunt Phyllis died my last year of junior high, and my mom was devastated, and I felt terrible, and I was crying all the time. And that summer, I went away to church camp, and I sang in the church choir, and I had just all kinds of fun. And I think that's the first time I heard God singing to me. It was like being wrapped in this warm blanket. It was comforting, and I needed that. So connecting with the church choir, that's like coming home for me. It's like being embraced in God's arms, wrapped in that warm blanket. That's the first time I've ever shared that with anyone.
Because you trust us.
And now, I try to share my faith through music.
Yeah, I mean, that offertory song that you sang, it moved me. Like, I don't know if I told you this, but I actually shared it with some coworkers.
Thank you.
That's it. I mean, that's evangelism. You shared what was important to you, right? How the gospel touched you. And you were compelled to tell someone else about it, in a sense, inviting them to come and share in that experience.
I did, didn't I? Thanks, Glendy.
There's joy and passion in each and every one of us here, and we're finally starting to share that because we're learning to trust.
Excellent point, Jeff.
I'll eat a donut to that.
Is now a good time for me to bring up the agenda? Donut, he's not eating.
You want to write a song?
You know, sharing genuine experiences, coming from that place of caring for each other. Just like that.
Inviting others to experience the love of God and Jesus Christ for themselves.
You should show that to Mr. Riley.
That's classic.
Because evangelism isn't something we have to do. It's something we get to do.